Hello and welcome to the Well Invested Life podcast. Today we have our first guest. His name is Trent Ogden. He is the team lead for the Raven Real Estate Group at Coldwell Banker Realty. Welcome, Trent.
Thanks, Vince. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, thanks for being on.
Yeah, for sure.
So on this show, I talk about all the things that we can invest in now that will provide a return down the road for a better life. So one of those things I think that we would both agree on that's a good investment is real estate. But there are many other things in life that we can invest in that will provide a great return down the road in all aspects of our lives, like financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So I'd love to hear your story and your background of what led you to where you are today, and then we can talk about some of the things that you're investing in now. How's that sound?
That sounds great, man. Look forward to it.
So yeah, tell me about how you grew up. What was your childhood like?
I was in about every sport you could think of. We went to Mount Orb in elementary, and then we moved to Eastern there in middle school. But even throughout, we played football, baseball, soccer. Once we moved over to Eastern, football out of the play because they don't have that over there.
Yeah, no football.
And then just spent a couple junior high years in a very sort of I don't know, it's like a golf stage, I guess you could say. I had long hair and wore real baggy clothes and kind of left the sports scene for a little while. And then the freshman year, I had to cut my hair in order of a requirement to play basketball. So then I had like a little mix up and got back into sports, and it helped a lot because I was kind of a troubled kid there in junior high. And yeah.
Who made you cut your hair?
Rob Bugler. Yeah.
He
said, the first basketball tryout I went to, I had long hair, and he said if I wanted to play, I had to get my hair cut. So that's what I did. But as far as investment wise and things like that, I mean, we wasn't, by any means, well off. My mom worked very hard to, provide for us. And, when
what did she do?
She just worked any job she could to, try to make sure we had food on the table. She was a very hard working mama. So yeah, it's kind of she's an inspiration for sure. Just thinking about some of the stuff that she did for us kids when we were, small. Yeah. And then Dean had the Mac tool business, and, so you always you never knew, what the sort of, the business was going to pull in. So you kind of got to watch your, you had to budget, very well. So that's what we did. And, my parents, they all were my mom and Dean, they worked very hard to, make sure we lived comfortable. So.
Yeah. And they provided that example of, what it takes to raise a family. It's
certainly.
I know as kids, we didn't appreciate it as kids of what our parents did for us, but just putting food on the table is not automatic. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it does.
So what'd you do after high school?
Well, I joined the Kentucky National Guard right out of high school. And then I served, I served there for 10 years. And of course I got deployed twice. I got deployed in October of 2004. And then I stayed deployed till January of 2006. We went to Iraq with an MP battalion. And then I went again in 2010 and served as tactical commander for Raven 3-1, which is where we, got our name from, and for a real estate group. I was the tactical commander for a personal security detail for the State Department.
Cool.
And then after that, I got home, and I had a full-time job working for the Kentucky National Guard as I guess you would call a training NCO. And that's when Dean got cancer, and I ended up kind of taking over his Mac tool business. And I did that for, I think, about 9 years, maybe a little shy of 9 years. And then I got into ministry. I went to Ohio Christian University, and I got my bachelor's degree in biblical studies, and then I'm a youth pastor now at Georgetown Baptist Church, and then I jumped into real estate just kind of as a supplemental, so I wasn't such a a sort of burden on the church, if you will. I could make income elsewhere, and not maybe necessarily have as big of an income with the church that maybe some would like.
I see. So
Yeah.
let's go back a little bit. What was the major influence that led you to join the military?
Well, I would like to have this huge inspirational sort of story, man, but it's really just I wanted them to pay for my college, and that
Okay.
was the way it was. I knew I didn't have any sort of finances. I had no savings, and I remember just sitting at home, and Mom said there was somebody coming over to see us. I think I was going to Kyle Dotson's house that evening, and Mom said she asked me if I'd stay home, so I talked to somebody that was coming to see us, and then a recruiter showed up. I had no intentions that afternoon of signing up for anything, let alone, any career decisions that,
Yeah.
I was going to make. And by the time he got done talking, I was just like, yeah, I'll sign up. Sure. And so,
Yeah, that's a great path for a lot of people who don't have the finances to afford college.
I mean, it really is, because if you join the National Guard in your state, they do give you 100% tuition assistance.
Right.
You do got to stay in shape and pass PT tests and things like that. There's requirements for it, but I mean,
Well,
if
that's
you
a good
don't have the
thing.
means, that's definitely available.
Did you have an idea that you were going to get deployed when you made that decision?
No, my recruiter even told me multiple times. He was like, the National Guard never even got called up when Vietnam was going on,
Really?
so and that it was always in the back of my mind that was a possibility. But yeah, it never even crossed my mind to even think I would be getting deployed. And
Wow.
then it was about 10 months after I'd gotten back from boot camp. No, yeah. I found out I was getting deployed.
Yeah, I remember it being pretty quick. Like,
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
once you joined, you were gone pretty quick.
Yeah.
Huh. So, okay. What lessons during your tours in Iraq do you apply in your business now?
There's a lot of
Or
different
in your
sort of
life in
leadership.
general? In
Yeah,
life in general.
like really just don't be scared to fail. You know what I mean? Because certain aspects you're going to aren't going to go your way. You know what I mean? If you're striving for a goal, there's going to be certain hiccups and speed bumps along the way, and you got to learn to adjust fire and kind of move forward. You can't allow that to dictate how you your next move as forward as progressing towards whatever goal it is. And you're going to have some adversity, you're going to have some obstacles, but you continue to strive towards that until the mission is completed, is essentially what I learned in the military, along with a plethora of other things. Just as long, I had really good leaders that mentored me and showed me how to be a good leader. I had really bad leaders that I've gotten a lot of not so much advice, but just things I knew I shouldn't do when I was in leadership positions. But all in all, with just the the adversity and the sort of situations you find yourself in any sort of deployment, plan A is not always going to work. So you got to have you can keep the goal in mind, and even with adverse situations and unlikely outcomes, if you will, you can still strive towards that goal regardless what tries to trip you up.
I love that. Don't be scared to fail. That was something that I deal with even still today. Is like, you have a goal, but there's a good possibility. That something's gonna be in your way, and you don't know if you're gonna make it or not. But you still have to keep that goal in mind and know that you might fail, but that doesn't mean that the goal is not achievable. It just means you have to try again.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
It's great. So, can you describe some of the most important relationships in your life now?
But the most important relationship is mine with my Father God. It took me a long time to get to that point, but that's obviously my most important relationship. Everything else branches from that, and of course, as a husband, my wife is my second most important, and then as a father, my kids are my third most important. uh, and then that's kind of how everything in my life is structured. Through that, I spent a lot of time, uh, trying to provide for them in ways that kept me away from them. And now I'm kind of blessed with the ability to be able to provide for them and also kind of drag them along with me wherever I'm going. So, which is which is a blessing and a curse, I guess, to them. But I hope they look back on it and are appreciative. How much I've been able to spend time with them. As opposed to like my daughter, because I spent a couple years away from her just because of military deployments and things like that. So, and my stepdad gave me a good advice when he was running the Mac tool truck when we were kind of transitioning there. He said, Trent, don't just be known as the Mac man. He said you got other priorities in your life, so make sure people know you as not just the Mac man. So, and I really took that to heart and made sure I spent some time with my family.
That's great.
Yeah.
So as a real estate agent now, that allows you the freedom to spend more time with your family.
Well, in a sense, it does, as opposed to just working 80 hours a week in a tool business where you're the CEO and the janitor. You know what I mean? And trying to fill all those sort of positions, and then trying to also be involved in your family as well. Because I got responsibilities within the church too that I got to fulfill, and a lot of times my kids are right there with me while I'm fulfilling those sort of responsibilities, where I can kind of do those sort of things with real estate too. If I'm writing a contract, or I'm in the office, or I'm sitting in my office here, they can kind of be running around talking to me, and I can at least be there presently,
be present.
in that sort of sense. Just because of technology and how we advanced, and that's that sort of aspect. But it has definitely allowed me to be more involved with my family, being what my prior careers were, as far as being in the military and then running that tool business for 10 years.
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoy the flexibility that being in the real estate industry provides, to be able to have other priorities in your life that you can deal with from 9 to 5, and you're not stuck in an office somewhere where you have so much less flexibility.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So what are you investing in now that you think will have a positive impact on your future life in any way?
Well, I mean, I invested a lot of time pouring into the youth at my church, obviously, because I'm the youth pastor there. So I
Yeah.
look forward to seeing the fruits of that. Um, and sometimes it can be discouraging being in those sort of situations. But I really connect with these kids. I love them to death, and I just treat them as my own. And just the relationships that get built around there too, just with other of my church members and stuff. We I really appreciate them, and I spent a lot of my adult life somehow involved in the community, whether it be through church or just being involved in nonprofit fundraisers and things like that. So I like just building relationships. I like people, and and I think all of that helps as far as in real estate, because you get to help them invest in a lot of people's biggest investment that they'll invest in their life. And they want to make sure somebody's there that cares for them and doesn't just have a sort of transaction mindset, but has I genuinely care for you and want you to love what you're looking for. So
Love it.
but yeah, so I just invest in a lot of that. A lot of time is spent in that. We spend a lot of time together, and then also in just monetary wise, I just had done my first flip. As far as uh, real estate's concerned. It took me a couple years. And we actually lived there while we were doing it. But I just completed it, and now we're on the journey of finding our next one. And we got a couple options, and a couple different lanes we're kind of looking at, and we were on two different planes as far as me and my wife what we wanted to do, but we're going to come to a compromise, I believe, and we'll
Nice.
find something. I like the whole flipping and remodeling and doing those sort of things, and there can be it's difficult when you're when you don't really have a company come and knock these things out, and you're trying to do it all DIY, and
Yeah, while your family's there trying to step over nails and
right, right,
cook
and then
cook dinner on a halfway completed kitchen.
right, for sure, for sure, just a hot plate or something, or just warming stuff up in a microwave, and then you got the kids running around for who knows how many hours outside, and they're just getting tired, and you're just wanting to finish the project, and uh but I enjoyed it, and she enjoyed it too, but it did take a whole lot of work. But we are
Absolutely.
that's what we're currently looking at doing. We're looking at purchasing another kind of DIY sort of flip that we can do, and then just kind of building off of that, and seeing what this what it turns into.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, the relationships that I'm building too, I look forward to them kind of um seeing what I can learn to invest my money in, because I'm a baby when it comes to this sort of stuff. I don't know. um I I've never, when you talked about investments, it was always a good thing to talk about, but I don't know if I really had the income to be able to do it. And now with real estate and what we've been able to do, um we have an opportunity to do it, and I definitely want to.
Yeah, but so it sounds like you really invested a lot of energy into people and relationships, and I think that is super important. It's something that people don't necessarily consider an investment, but when you're investing that time into these people, into these young people, and into these relationships, I've realized that how much value that can really provide in your life. Like
Yeah,
as that matures and as it grows, and you see the fruits of that labor, and those relationships become an integral part of your life, and just bring you so much joy.
yeah,
And it's
for sure, for sure. And it's joy that you won't, that just money can't buy. You know what I
exactly.
mean? Like, just this, the joy of watching people grow, and just being blessed, and no matter, kind of just having steadfast faith, and just loving people, loving God, and wanting to serve their community. Man, it's just, there's nothing more beautiful than that.
Love it. What are you excited about in the future?
Really, just everything. Really, I mean, I just I'm excited. My daughter's getting ready to graduate high school, so I'm excited about her, and her moving on to the next stage in her life. Parenting is very rewarding, but it's very, like, I don't know. You watch her grow, but you're like, please stay young. You know what I mean? You just remember them when they're so tiny, and you could hold them, and they loved, you sitting on your lap and rocking them to sleep. And now, of course, she's 17, and that would be weird. Like, but like, and she's getting ready to go to college, and she's just a very beautiful girl. So I just look forward to seeing, what she has in store for, just the world. And then, with my other two sons too, with them where they're at in their lives as well, I look forward to just, watching them grow. And, uh, you know, and Ness just kind of ventured into a new career too. So I look forward to seeing her, kind of take off with that. She's in a position that she really loves to, and is able to help, people, as far as getting Medicaid insurance for long-term care and things like that. And, it's just, I just, I just really look forward to watching the joy of the Lord, in my life. That's really what I look forward to. And I just look, I'm just in a good season, I guess. And it's, it's been a blessing.
Well, I hope that good season continues for your whole family.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. What is the best way for people to connect with you?
Well, my number, obviously, you can call me on my cell phone. I am available. If you leave me a message, I'll get back to you. Anybody that's ever done any sort of, contact with me, they'll tell you that. Uh, and then email, Facebook. I don't really have the X or Twitter thing going. I'm not a real Facebook sort of social media savvy. I probably need to get better at that. Especially, kind of how much involved you need to be as far as the youth is involved in it. But yeah, so the best way to contact me is just my phone, 937-515-7928. And
All
then
right.
I will be sure to either get back to you or shoot me a text, and I'll get back to you. My email is Trent.Ogden at cbrealty.com, and you shoot me an email and I'll get back to you. And I don't shy away from communication. Everybody will tell you I talk to everybody that I come in contact with, all strangers that I come in contact with at the grocery store and everything. And that's another thing that drives my family nuts about me, but I've always been like that. So it's something the Lord's blessed me with. So it's a blessing and a curse to others, I guess.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for taking this time out of your day. It was good talking to you, and I loved hearing your story. And it's been great working on your team. Thanks a lot for bringing me onto your team and helping me in this journey as a real estate agent. It's really, really happy to be part of it.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Like, me and Vince were best friends growing up, dude. So, I mean, it's good just for you and I to connect, dude, to reconnect and be able to do this and, grow in our relationship and help others. That's what we're here to do.
All right, man. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. You too, brother. We'll see you, man.
Bye.
See you guys.